Hi, thanks for joining my webinar here today. This is kind of an informal thing. We're going to talk a little bit about how and why to track customers in SelbySoft in our point of sale system, and a little bit about how to implement phone orders, delivery. We'll touch on a number of topics here. I'm Mike Spence. I'm president and co-owner of SelbySoft. We are a point of sale software system for the coffee and pizza markets. We've been doing point of sale in those markets for a little over 25 years now, and have a terrific customer base out there that shared a lot of their ideas with us that's made us who we are today. So let's talk a little bit about why to track customers first off. And I'm gonna go ahead and do a little screen share here so that we've got this. So we can see a little bit of what's going on. And one of the things is first, what can you track? This will depend a little bit on your point of sale. With SelbySoft, we track quite a bit. Your usual as far as the name and phone number, address, some things that people don't think about tracking with their customers and that I always think is important is custom discounts. You probably offer a senior citizen discount, church, police, school, fire, something like that. And we want to make sure that that you can offer those discounts to those customers. If someone's a senior citizen, there's no sense in not just adding it automatically to their customer file. So when they call in or visit you, you can automatically add that discount to their ticket, right? Instead of having to ask every time or them having to prompt you for it. For those of you that do delivery, things like simple directions or gate codes for communities, apartment codes, things like that, deliver around back are always great options for us. We also like to track a few interesting things about the customer. These are things that don't normally show to the customer. They only show to your employees. For instance, it turns out that Mike Spence is a great customer and a good tipper. I wonder who wrote that, right? So you might have things in there like this customer is very particular or always gets this. I always use this case. We had a coffee shop one time, a customer who ordered 3 times a day, almost every day of the week. So there was a great customer, spent a lot of money with the shop, but they were very, very particular about exactly how much vanilla went into their latte. If you messed it up, they'd get grumpy. They wouldn't come back for the rest of the day. You lost out on those sales. So having things that, be really attentive and pay attention to that customer is a good thing we can put in those notes. Outside of that, let's go ahead and move on to a couple other things that we want to track. It's not just your address, right? What we need to actually make sure of is that we're tracking phone numbers and emails. In today's world of everyone having a cell phone, an office phone, some people still have a home phone, you can have multiple phone numbers. I know here at our house when we order, even though we may be ordering pizza delivery directly to our house, it could be myself, one of my 2 daughters, or my wife that orders that. So we'll have 4 or 5 phone numbers in our account so that anytime we give that phone number, it still links to our the Spence's account. That also helps with us earning points through the free gift and loyalty system that's built into SelbySoft. So that instead of earning it based on each individual person, we're earning it as a family account. Which can be really advantageous for those of you out there that do a lot of delivery. And we also may have multiple email addresses on file. In my case, you're going to get at least sales support and my own email address. So that's another way for you to collect more than just one email address per account. And those email addresses, are incredibly important for you as a store from a marketing standpoint. So the one of the last things that we'll talk about with, what can we track is once we have a customer in your database, one of the important things is knowing when they come and how much money they spend. So at minimum, SelbySoft tracks for 2 years your number of visits, the total amount you spent per visit, or per month, I should say. This is all broken down by month. The number of times you used a coupon in that month, how many points you earned in your reward system, and how much money you redeemed points for in your reward system. This really helps with those customers who go, oh my gosh, I come here all the time and you screwed up my coffee or my pizza, right? we might just hit that button. We're not going to share with the customer exactly what happened, but we might hit that button and go, they've been here twice in the last year and both times they used a discount. So they're only coming when they get a special on the web, right? Or we might say, my gosh, this person, comes in 10 times a week. Maybe we don't argue in any way, shape, or form. We give them their product for free and maybe a $5 gift card to go with it. It really depends on that situation. It's not designed to only reward people who shop with you more, but to more give you that ability to make educated decisions on what's going on. Believe it or not, I know all of you think you know your top customers. You know your top customers that are gregarious and outgoing and come and talk to you. You may not know that top customer who orders once or twice a week and has a very unassuming order. It's just a large cheese pizza and doesn't really have a conversation with your staff, even though they may order once a week for the last 5 years, right? So the point of sale knows everything. So why should we track customers? One of the biggest reasons for this is speed of service. When we talk about tracking customers, we can actually duplicate. Now that we know a customer's name, we can track exactly what they've ordered. So instead of us having to ring that order in every time, and guys, this doesn't matter if it's phone, a delivery order, or if it's right there in person, okay? When we know what your last order is, we have a leg up on this. Even if the customer changes their mind all the time, a customer service example of just saying, hey, how was that pizza last time? How was your half and half pizza? Or how was that 16-ounce mocha you had last time? That's something that the point of sale, by showing you that last order, can help you prompt your employees to ask the customer about their past experiences, right? It makes me as a customer feel good. And so that's one of the reasons to track this. The other reason is to really just duplicate it and get this speed going. Instead of re-ringing in the entire order, we want that customer to walk up to the counter, their name, or they provide you with a name or phone number if it's over the phone, pull up their last order and just copy it, right? When you're copying what was done last time, if it was done correctly last time, it's going to be done correctly this time. That also ties into allowing us to take a gift card and register it with a customer. By the way, on the screen here, you can see where we have the little gate code down there that doesn't show. That could also say great tipper or whatever else we wanted to, right? And you can see that this customer is part of the fire department, so they automatically get that discount. All that information is right there when we either swipe their card, put their name, or type their phone number in. With SelbySoft, that means that you get their customer information, their previous order, as well as any action that we want to take. Keep in mind, this isn't just their last order. We can go back to the beginning of time with that customer. It's rare that we'll go back more than 2 or 3 orders, right? We're not going to look at what someone ordered 3 months ago, but the opportunity's there if you needed to take advantage of it, okay? I'm going to go ahead and show you an example in our SelbySoft software of this. So for example, if this is a customer walking up, so using an example of the customer file, I could type Sandy here, and this is Sandy's last order, a sugar-free hazelnut mocha with whip, and she got her 10% senior citizen discount. We're going to be really careful with Sandy because she tends to complain in order to get a free drink, right? Now, when I talk about tracking customer information, we don't have to have phone number, address, and everything else. You can just do this with the name. If all you're interested in is gathering a name and an email address and duplicating past orders, you can do that. If you're doing phone orders and delivery, obviously grabbing a delivery address makes sense. And not just one. We may have to grab 2 or 3 delivery addresses if they have an office and a home nearby that they get your pizza delivered to. We'll talk about that a little bit as well. So right here, you can see by typing Sandy, if I decide to just go ahead and duplicate Sandy's order, we'll skip her reward system here. That's a very quick order. I didn't have to type this in. That's the benefit of putting a customer in the system and tracking your customer. We now know what they order, when they order it, and we can duplicate that order so that it's very easy to move on with your next customer. Remember, I talked about registering a gift card. In this case, Sandy's registered her gift card with her name. So we don't have to swipe or input that gift card. It's automatically there and will come off that gift card. That's a free gift and loyalty program built into SelbySoft. There's no swipe fees, monthly fees, percentages, none of that, right? So let's go back to our slideshow. So one of the other reasons to track customers, this is a statistic that surprised me when I first ran across it last year. Email collection. A lot of people feel that email is old, that it's not good for the 2020s here. In 2020, there was a marketing firm that did a study out there, and they found that email marketing was up to 40 times more effective than social media. Think about that. You spend a lot of time on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, whatever it is. Email marketing can be 40 times more effective. Some of the reasons for that is your social media posts are not sent to all of your social media followers. It just simply doesn't show up in their feed on a daily basis where they can see it. There are so many formulas that social media uses in order to determine what's best presented to the customer. If you're a new like, or if you've been a like for a long time and your customers don't interact with your page, your posts may fall off of that. I know it happens with us as well, right? Anyone out there who's ever done a social media post with 1,000 customers and seen 4 people viewed it knows what I'm talking about. When you do email marketing, it shows up in their inbox. Unless you're marked as spam, it's in that inbox, okay? So you're getting eyeballs on the message. Whether they open it, click on it, or anything else is a different thing. But if you're using MailChimp, Constant Contact, or any of those, they'll tell you how many of those emails were delivered. If you do 1,000, chances are 90% of those will be delivered to the customer. So email does give you a strong marketing potential. One of the things with this is by collecting email addresses, you can actually do automated marketing as well. So a couple things we can do, and I'll tie this into the next point, the information export, which is we can take those email addresses in SelbySoft, export them out so that you can bring them into Constant Contact, MailChimp, or whatever your preferred platform is. At that point in time, you would be able to create any kind of email campaign you like, right? We can even break those emails down if you want to get a little more specific. We can break those emails down and say that we want to see all of the emails, and I'll show you an example of this. Let's go into this report for fun here. So for instance, we might want to see all of the customers who are new, meaning emails that have been put in the last 30 days. We may want to see all of our existing customers and export only customers who have not ordered or used their customer profile in 30 days, right? Remember, they didn't stop drinking coffee or eating pizza. That just doesn't happen. They just went somewhere else, right? They're not getting it from you anymore. So those are people we can try and get back. With those email addresses, we can also track customers by date and time. We can even export, for those of you doing delivery, based on how long it took that delivery to be completed to the time that it either was assigned or the time that the driver came back. And I want you all to think about that do any kind of delivery, or those of you that are thinking about doing delivery, in this new world we've got here. That's really powerful, because if you can preemptively say, I want to run a report and get every email address that took longer than 45 minutes to deliver to, you then send those people an email saying, hey, we know that it might have taken a little longer than we wanted to get your pizza to you or your product to you. Here's 50% off your next order, or 25, or a free appetizer, whatever the bribe is for you, right? Because that's what it is. It's a bribe. What that does is that preemptively targets those customers and lets them know, it took a long time last time. We're going to give you something to order again next time. Something that the pizza market has known for years is I only remember my last order. If I go to my refrigerator or my phone or wherever to order something and I go, oh crap, remember it took 2 hours last time to get my food? Then I might try a new place. But if I go, it took 2 hours to get my food last time, but you know what? I've got that email for a free appetizer. Let's go ahead and do it and try it, right? What's the worst that could happen? It gives you the opportunity to do a better job. So that's all through tracking customers and using that customer file to know who's doing what. Now, there is another way to even make this a little simpler and automate it for you. SelbySoft has a program called hands-free marketing. And what hands-free marketing does is that allows you to set up 3 emails. New customers, so people who have just given you their email address, people who have not ordered in 30 days, and people who have a birthday coming up. Okay? Once you provide us with the email of that, SelbySoft will every day go through your customer file, pull those appropriate emails out, those appropriate customers out, and send your email to the customer. That's why we call it hands-free. You set it up one time, you forget about it. We typically will see that you can bring in about 20% of those customers will actually respond. A lot of traditional marketing is 1% of your customers will open a campaign, but when they're existing customers and you're hitting them with this, it's a much higher percentage there. So think about that. It's a great way to use that customer file from a marketing standpoint. It's one of the reasons to track these people. Another thing, here's a great picture. One of our customers at BC Pizza out in Michigan, Amanda Connor. This is someone taking an order right there over the phone, right? And so what I want to talk about with phone orders is how this actually works, right? So what happens in a phone scenario? It may sound simple, but what we want to do is we have that phone ring and your employee answers it. And we can do one of 2 different things here. We can do just a simple phone number, 555-1000, and pull up that customer, okay? We could also use an integrated caller ID system, so we're now seeing the phone number that comes up and automatically matching it to the customer file. It saves you the step of adding that phone number in the first time. That can make building your customer database much easier with a caller ID system. So here, we'll go ahead and take this order. Now, if this is a phone order, we have a couple choices. Something you need to think about for those of you that are still new to taking phone orders. You may collect payment online, but if they're going to come in and pick it up, you may actually put this order on hold, okay, meaning it has not been paid for, all right? So now when that customer comes into the store, what we can actually do is we may say it's on hold, it's Sandy, and say, oh, Sandy, you were coming in for that coffee, right? The coffee's there, and then we close her out, okay? So that's a great way to go ahead and track that phone order. Let's talk a little bit about, I'm going to switch platforms here. I want to show you how a delivery may actually work here so that we've got a little, let me pull up a delivery system here. Bear with me just a second. And so what we might actually see with the delivery system, we'll share this screen again, is what we might actually see with the delivery system. I'm going to go ahead and get us clocked in. Is right here, the first thing is we're still going to get a phone number, a name, something like this, right? So we'll go ahead and put in John Smith here. We're going to go ahead and duplicate his order. Okay, and we'll mark this as delivery and cash him out. Now, what we can do is we can actually assign this to a driver. But before we assign it to a driver, we have a unique system called process orders or order processing. And what that does is now we know when we've taken the order, right? Order processing actually allows us to mark when each pizza or each product has been finished. So we can see that we quoted John 15 minutes to have his order ready. Okay, with order processing, you'll see at the top of the screen here, it says quote time 15 minutes. The one over here will actually show us how long it's taken us to do this. So this is a constantly evolving number in our system. So if you're doing a lot of deliveries, instead of just saying, yeah, we'll have that in 45 minutes, your employees can use this quote time at the top of the screen to actually say how long it should be. And you can add some padding to that. There's a number of settings in this system for it, right? Once we say that Supreme Pizza is done, now it moves to the next step, which is it can now be assigned to a driver. So what we're doing is we're actually providing you with reporting and information on when the order was taken, when the kitchen finished it, when it was assigned to the driver, and when the driver came back. So you have all of the information regarding that order right here on your order screen. So I will assign this ticket. It's been out for 2 minutes, and I'm going to go ahead and assign it to RJ here. When I assign this order, RJ is now on the road with it. So a few things happen for those of you with the delivery system is, one, we want to know by clicking on RJ's name where he's at, what he's taking. So this is what RJ has in the queue right now. There'll be a number here in a few minutes, and that's how long RJ's been on the road so that you can track your drivers, okay? Now, the other thing that happens is we know that customers call in. When you're waiting on food, if you order a coffee, a sandwich, a pizza, whatever it is, and you're waiting on it to be delivered, every car that drives by makes you go, is that the pizza guy? Is that dinner? Right? So people will call and say, where's my food? So instead of going in the kitchen or asking your manager or saying, hey, has anyone seen what's happened with this? All we have to do is grab their phone number. Guys, everything's tied to getting that customer information, right? So we'll put that phone number in. Now we can see that that order was ordered at 1:24. Employee number 1 took the order, so we know exactly who to ask. And the order was assigned to driver 1000 at 1:26. So we can say, hey, John, I know you're starving, man, but we got your order and we actually sent the driver on the road 2 minutes later. He'll be there any minute, I promise, right? So this gives you and any employee the ability to instantly be an expert on what's happening in your store, all right? Because we know that the driver's taken the order at this point. I'll hit previous here to show you if your order happens to be in this blue with the hashes there, that means that driver's actually come back. So we not only know when they left, but when they came back, and the order is finished there. Now, there's a lot of other things that can be done from a delivery standpoint. We can get into mapping coordinates that are down here. As I mentioned before, we might have additional addresses in a file. Here, I'll pull up a different customer here. I'll pull up myself. I think I'm in here, and we'll see. I'm in here a couple times, yes. So we'll see right here that I have multiple addresses. So, if I'm close enough from a house and a work standpoint, I may sometimes order pizza to the office. I may order pizza to the house, right? So these are all great ways for you to be able to track your deliveries and see what's going on. I appreciate you joining this session with me here. If anyone has any questions, if you've got some comments, if you'd like to set up a time to talk more about how to implement delivery with us, if you're an existing customer, feel free to reach out to me or our support department. You can always give us a call as well. I'm going to pop up I'll pop that back up here so that you can have our contact information there. Again, thanks for joining me today. We'll be doing more of these. This was recorded and will actually show up on our website under our webinar section. You can find a link at SelbySoft.com. Thank you and have a great day out there. We'll see you.